Hare Krishna, thank you for joining us to Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha, Jaya Giravardhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha, Jaya Giravardhari. Shodanandana Vrajana Ranjana, Shodanandana Vrajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirnasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutle Swam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavacham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Ritam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatu Brihashta Kirpa Sindhume Vacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukham Proti Vachalam Pangam Langyate Grim Yat Kirpata Mandashi Gurunti Taranam Paramananda Madham Shitaneshram Hari Om Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttamam Devim Sasvit Vyasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nasta Presha Abdurishu Nitya Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhagavatam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nestiki. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. And let's continue with chapter 17. And last time we were talking about Maharaj Parikshit, how he's pacifying the cow and the bull. He was feeling guilty. He felt it was his fault that he was not able to protect them because they are also his citizens, just like the human beings. The animals are also citizens of the state. And then we also discussed more qualities of the cow, how they are mentioned in different scriptures. And again, Srila Prabhupada talks about the executive heads, how they are ignorant themselves, and then they attract similar kind of people to follow them, and they really don't have any spiritual knowledge to teach them, to guide them. So like that. So let's continue with verse 13. Where are we? Okay. So verse 13. Akyahi vrish badramva sadhunam akritagasam atam verupya kartaram parthanam kriti dushanam. So Akyahi, just let me know, Rish, O bull, Badram, good, Va, for you, Sadhunam, of the honest, Akrit Agasam, of those who are offenseless, Atam Verupya, deformation of the self, Kartaram, the doer, Parthanam, of the sons of Pritha, Kirti Dushanam, blackening the reputation. Wow. O bull, you are offenseless and thoroughly honest. Therefore, I wish all good to you. Please tell me of the perpetrator of these mutilations which blacken the reputation of the sons of Pritha. So, Kunti Mata was also known as Pritha, and Maharaj Parikshit, he is very concerned about the reputation of his ancestors. So the reputation of the reign of Maharaj Ramchandra, and that the kings who followed in the footsteps of Maharaj Ramchandra, like the Pandavas and the descendants, are never to be forgotten, because in the kingdom offenseless and honest living beings were never in trouble. The bull and the cow are the symbols of the most offenseless living beings, because even the stool and urine of these animals are utilized to benefit human society. The descendants of the sons of Pritha, like Maharaj Parikshit, were afraid of losing their reputations. But in the modern days, the leaders are not even afraid of killing such offenseless animals. Herein lies the difference between the reign of those pious kings and the modern states ruled by irresponsible executive heads without knowledge of the codes of God. So more of the same. See if we can add anything to this. 13. So it says that the Kshatriyas coming in the lineage of Surya or Chandra dynasty always upheld the reputation of the forefathers. This was important to them. Raghukul Rita Sada Chali Ai. So especially with the Ram Navami coming up, it's very appropriate to mention Sri Ramchandra, how he upheld and his word always in the Kul, they always upheld the word, and he still, he's still remembered and discussed. And Maharaj Ramchandra, or Sri Ramchandra, he considered his father, they really held their ancestors, the elders, in a very high position. His father said, one minute he's saying, you are becoming emperor, and then, sorry, change my mind, you're not becoming emperor, I'm banishing you to 14 years to the forest. And in fact, your younger brother, Bharat, he's going to be the emperor. If somebody said that to us, we'd be like really rebelling, and there'd be bloodshed to hear something like that. But Lord Ram, he said, whatever you wish, my dear father, because a father for him was like his guru. It was his guru's instructions, and he was happy to follow them. And he did as he was asked to do, without any quarrel. So like that, this, and the same with the Pandavas. When their mother said, that they jokingly said, "Look what you have brought," and the mother said, Kunti Mata said, "Okay, so whatever you got, just share it between your brothers," without even looking. She said that, and then they ended up sharing Draupadi between them because his mother's instruction, and they didn't want to take it back. They said, "Whatever you say, Mom, Mother, that's we're happy to follow." So like that, they were like very obedient and respectful clans, and Maharaj Parikshit doesn't want to lose that reputation. Okay. Text 14. Jane anagsi agam yunjan sarvatosya samad bayam sadhunam badram ev sayad asadu damne krite. So jane, to the living beings, anagsi, those who are offenseless, agam, sufferings, yunjan, by applying, sarvatha, anywhere and everywhere, asya, of such offenders, cha and mat bayam, fe me, sadhu nam, of the honest persons, badram, good fortune, eva, certainly, sayat, will take place, asadu, dishonest miscreants, damne, curbed, krite, being so done. So whoever causes offenseless living beings to suffer must fear me anywhere and everywhere in the world. By curbing dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. So Srila Prabhupada explains that dishonest miscreants flourish because of cowardly and impotent executive heads of state. But when the executive heads are strong enough to curb all sorts of dishonest miscreants in any part of the state, certainly they cannot flourish. When the miscreants are punished in an exemplary manner, automatically all good fortune follows. As said before, it is the prime duty of the king or the executive head to give protection in all respects to the peaceful, offenseless citizens of the state. The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful and offenseless, and therefore it is the prime duty of the state to arrange to convert everyone to become a devotee of the Lord. Thus automatically there will be peaceful, offenseless citizens. Then the only duty of the king will be to curb the dishonest miscreants that will bring about peace and harmony all over human society. So it's mentioned that we help the citizens, help the animals, help the citizens become devotees, because devotees are automatically peaceful and offenseless. So there's the key. So like now when Lord Chaitanya, he came, he didn't come to kill anyone, he just wanted to turn them to devotees. So there will be peace and harmony in the society, as many people as he could. And he also wanted others, his devotees, to help him to do that. And he took actions as he saw appropriate. People like Ramananda Rai, he said, "You stay with me." Lord Nityananda, he sent him to Bengal to preach there and set example. He said, "Get married, set example to the householders, how they can also do the same." And he sent the Goswamis to Vrindavan to write the scriptures and find the missing places of his Krishna's pastimes. So like that, he gave different instructions. He wanted people, he needed the support to to spread Krishna consciousness. So very important that people become devotees. Very important, that is important for peace and harmony in all over human society. Text 15. Angashav iha bhuteshu ya agaskrin nirankushaha aratasmi bhujam sakshad amritya sayapi sangadam. So anagahasu iha, to the offenseless, bhuteshu, living beings, Ya, the person, agaha krit, commits offense, nirankusha, upstart, aharatasmi, I shall bring forth, bhujam, arms, sakshat, directly, amrityasyapi, even one who is a demigod, sa angadam, with decorations and armor. So an upstart being who commits offences by torturing those who are offenceless shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven with armor and decorations. So Maharaj Parikshit is very serious about this. The denizens of the heavenly kingdom are called Amar or deathless due to their possessing a long span of life, far greater than that of the human beings. For a human being who has only a maximum 100-year duration of life, a span of life spreading over millions of years is certainly considered to be deathless. For example, from the Bhagavad-Gita, we learn that on the Brahmlok planet, the duration of one day is calculated to be 4 billion years, 4.3 billion years, solar years. Similarly, in other heavenly planets, one day is calculated to be 6 months of this planet. That's the celestial planets, right? Heavenly planets. Our one day is their 6 months. Or rather the other way around, their one day is our
6 months.
6 months. And the inhabitants get a life of 10 million of their years. Wow. Therefore, in all higher planets, since the span of life is far greater than that of the human being, the denizens are called deathless by imagination, although actually no one within the material universe is deathless. Because when Lord Brahma dies after his 100 years life, then everything goes with him, everything's destroyed and has to restart again. So nothing is permanent in the material world. Maharaj Parikshit challenges even such denizens of heaven if they torture the offenceless. This means that the state executive head must be as strong as Maharaj Parikshit, so that he may be determined to punish the strongest offenders. It should be the principle of a state executive head that the offender of the courts of God is always punished. 15. So nothing could stop these powerful leaders of Vedic times. Leaders should not be weak and flimsy. That disqualifies most of us to take that role because we are weak and flimsy. And then 16. Rajnohi paramodharma swadharma sthanupalanam shasato anyan yatha shastram anpadi utpathan iha. So Rajnaha of the king or the executive head, he is certainly Parama's supreme dharma. Occupational duty, swadharmastha, one who is faithful to his prescribed duty, anupalanam, giving protection always, shasatha, while ruling, anyan, others, yatha, according to shastram, rulings of the scriptures, anapadi, without danger, utpathan, persons going astray, iha, as a matter of fact. So the supreme duty of the ruling king is to give all protection to law-abiding persons and to chastise those who stray from the ordinance of the scriptures in ordinary times when there is no emergency. So in the scripture there is a mention of apad dharma or occupation duty at times of extraordinary happenings. It is said that sometimes the great sage Vishwamitra had to live on the flesh of dogs in some extraordinary dangerous position. In case of emergency, one may be allowed to live on the flesh of animals of all description, but that does not mean that there should be regular slaughterhouses to feed the animal eaters and that this system should be encouraged by the state. No one should try to live on flesh in ordinary times simply for the sake of the palate. So people are eating for their taste. If anyone does, or for gratification, if anyone does so, the king or the executive head should punish him for gross enjoyment. Okay, so the governments don't punish people for gross enjoyment, but nowadays, and God does. for gross enjoyment, you fall ill and you get a disease or something if you over enjoy. And there's government might not punish them, but the government go bankrupt. The problem with some of the countries, they're doing gross enjoyment, and the countries have gone bankrupt because they're having too much fun. There are regular scriptural injunctions for different persons engaged in different occupational duties, and one who follows them is called Swadharmastha, or faithful in one's prescribed duties. In the Bhagavad-Gita 1848, it is advised that one should not give up his occupational prescribed duties, even if they are not always flawless. Such swadharma might be violated in cases of emergency, if one is forced by circumstances, but they cannot be violated in ordinary times. The state, most important thing is to keep your, body and soul together. If you have to do it for body and soul, because keeping the body together is the first priority. Without body, everything's pointless. So body together. But if whatever you're doing is not required to keep the body and soul together, the body and soul will be together without it, then it's not acceptable. The state executive head is to see that such swadharma is not changed by the follower, whatever it may be, and he should give all protection to the follower of swadharma. The violator is subject to punishment in terms of Shastra, and the duty of the king is to see that everyone strictly follows his occupational duty as prescribed in the scripture. So first you got to know the scripture, you got to know your duty. So that's 16. So discuss these about apad dharma. So in the garden, it's mentioned that in the garden weeds are uprooted. You cannot show mercy to a weed. Mercy to the normal plants is shown by nurturing it, watering it. If you leave the weed to grow, it's going to grow faster. They don't require nutrients and care like normal plants. Plants are so fragile. Whereas the weeds grow, you try to get rid of them and put in weed killer and they still come back up. In fact, the normal plant is their food. They take over the whole garden. This weed of Kali is very intelligent. So the plant may not be their food, but they do take away the food or the nutrients from the plant that we are expecting to grow. The weeds take all the nutrients from that. Just like a bhakti, if you have anarthas growing, weeds growing, then they sap all the energy from our bhakti, and the bhakti lata beach and the bhakti lata plant will die as well. So that's the the comparison there. Srila Prabhupada said, while there are abundant fruits and vegetables, why are you killing innocent animals? If there was no fruits and vegetables, then it's a different story. If there's nothing else, that's the only thing, then we do, as we discussed last week, it's the law of living of material world that we are killing other entities for our own survival. But the ones we are instructed or allowed to kill is the plants and the fruits and the vegetables, not the animals. Living entity with flesh and blood. 17. Dharma Vacha. Now Dharma is going to speak. The bull. Etadva panda pande vayanam yuktam artabhyam vacha yesham gun ganhi Krishna dotyadau Bhagavan kritaha. So Dharma Vacha. The personality of religion said, Etad, all these va by you, Pandvayanam, of those who are in the Pandav dynasty, Yuktam, just befitting, Arat, the sufferer, Abhyam, freedom from all fears, Vacha, speeches, Yesham, those, Gun, Ganehi, by the qualifications, Krishna, even Lord Krishna, Dotya Adau, the duty of a messenger, etc. Bhagwan, the personality Godhead, Kritaha, performed. So the personality of religion said, these words just spoken by you befit a person of the Pandav dynasty. So Dharma is pleased with Maharaj Parikshit's captivated by the devotional qualities of the Pandavas. Even Lord Krishna, the personal Godhead, performed duties as a messenger for them. So the assurances and challenges made by Maharaj Parikshit are never exaggeration of his real power. The Maharaj said that even the denizens of heaven could not escape his stringent government because they were violators of religious principles. He was not falsely proud, for a devotee of the Lord is equally as powerful as the Lord, or sometimes more powerful by His grace, and any promise made by a devotee, though it may be ordinarily very difficult to fulfill, is properly executed by the grace of the Lord. And again, we talk about Lord Ram. So we had Nal and Neel, who had the power. If they wrote Lord Ram's name on a stone, and that's how they built the bridge. And they if they threw it in the water, the stone would float. They had this, this boon that the stone will float. So Lord Ram, he was watching them doing this, and he's like, wow, this is too good. He asked them if I could have a go. So Lord Ram threw the stone in the sea, and the stone just went down. By the name of the Lord, the stone is floating, sent by the devotee. When the Lord Himself throws the stone or the rock into the sea, it sank. And like Lord Ram saying, what happened there? It would be embarrassing. And Hanuman explained that your name is very strong, and by your name, power of your name, holy name, the stones are floating, but whoever you throw away, can never float. Nobody can save them. So that was the explanation, that the Lord had thrown away the stone, and nobody could save that stone. It's like that. So the devotee at that time seemed more powerful than the Lord Himself, by the grace of the Lord. So the Pandavas, by their unalloyed devotion service and full surrender unto the Lord, made it possible for the Lord to become a chariot driver, or sometimes a letter messenger. Such duties executed by the Lord for His devotee are always very pleasing to the Lord, because the Lord wants to render service to His unalloyed devotee, whose life is no other engagement than to serve the Lord with full love and devotion. And the Lord wants to serve him back. Maharaj Parikshit, grandson of Arjun, the celebrated friendly servitor of the Lord, was a pure devotee of the Lord like his grandfather, and therefore the Lord was always with him, even from the time when he was helplessly lying in the womb of his mother and was attacked by the blazing Brahmastra weapon of Ashvatthama. A devotee is always under the protection of the Lord, and therefore the assurance of protection by Maharaj Parikshit could never be without meaning. The personality of religion accepted this fact and thus thanked the king for his being true to his exalted position. So that's some assurance for Dharma. And so 17, see if we can add anything. So Maharaj Parikshit was from a great lineage. He had lots of skills. He had the backing of Krishna as well. Therefore, he could give assurance and challenges because he had great backing. He had physical power and devotional power, great combination of both. Yeah, it's important. See, even the demons have physical power, sometimes more than the devotee, but the devotee has the devotional power to back him up as well. And finally, to 18. Okay. Navayam klesh bijani yatha sahu purusha shaba purusham tam vijanino nimo vakya beda vimohitaha. So not vayam, we klesh bijani, the root cause of sufferings, yatha, where from, sahu, it so happens, purush rishabha, O greatest of all your beings, Purisham, the person, Tam, that, Vijani Maha, no, Vakya Bhed, difference of opinion, Vimohitaha, bewildered by. O greatest among human beings, it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant who has caused our sufferings, because we are bewildered by all the different opinions of theoretical philosophers. So there are many theoretical philosophers in the world who put forward their own theories of cause and effect, especially about the cause of suffering and its effect on different living beings. Excuse me. Generally, there are 6 great philosophers: Kanad, the author of Vishashika philosophy; Gautama, the author of logic; Patanjali, the author of mystic yoga; Kapila, the author of Sankhya philosophy; Jaimini, the author of Karam Mimamsa; and Vyasadeva, the author of Vedanta Darshan. So although the bull, or the personality of religion, and the cow, the personality of the earth, knew perfectly well that the personality of Kali was a direct cause of all their sufferings, still, as devotees of the Lord, they knew well also that without the sanction of the Lord, no one could inflict trouble upon them. So this is a very important point to remember, that if somebody is inflicting trouble on us, then, we don't just think these people are inflicting. You have to go into deeper, say, what could be the cause of this? What could be the reason behind it as well? Not just, oh, this person's very bad and they're doing this. What could be the cause of this? According to the Padam Puran, our present trouble is due to the fructifying of seedling sins. But even those seedling sins also gradually fade away by execution of pure devotional service. So we want to burn those sins, those seedlings, because that's the beauty of devotional service. It not only purifies us, it also takes away the sins that are waiting to give us reactions. It'll just burn them out. Thus, even if the devotees see the mischief mongers, they do not accuse them for the sufferings inflicted. So, that is very useful to know. They take it for granted that the mischievous monger is made to act by some indirect cause, and therefore they tolerate the sufferings, thinking them to be God-given in small doses, for otherwise the suffering should have been greater. Now, when somebody is giving you sufferings, it's not easy to tolerate. You want to retaliate, you want to report it, and then there's so many actions you want to take, and sometimes you have to do it because it becomes intolerable. But when you understand the philosophy properly, and you can put it into practical use, then you don't feel so much hurt because you've understood the message. You've understood that this is happening for this reason. Then it doesn't bother you so much because you can see the reason behind it. I apologize for this example, but there was one devotee. His wife was saying that I can say anything to him, and he never reacts. He doesn't never gets angry. And she was like, determined. I said, why are you determined to get him angry? Why you want? And then I've heard other wives say the same thing, that my husband does not get angry. That's a good thing, right? It's not a challenge, not a competition. That can I make him angry? And then I asked this particular husband. I said, so how do you do it? Because we first thing do is we react back. We want to give back what we just got. And he says, I have understood the message. He said, I have understood Krishna consciousness. To what he said in a humility way. It's not like showing off or an arrogant way. He says, I have understood the message, Prabhu, so I don't get angry. And this is that's what he's understood. That he tolerates the suffering because he understands that it's God given in small doses, and he accepts that. So it's fantastic. If we can understand that, then that's great, right? But do we understand that? It's very hard to it's not possible for everyone to understand that. But those who have, they are peaceful and they accept. And then God sees that he has so much faith in me and things get better. So Maharaj Parikshit wanted to get a statement of accusation against the direct mischief monger. But they declined to give it on the above mentioned grounds. They accepting it. Speculative philosophers, however, do not recognize the sanction of the Lord. They try to find out the cause of suffering in their own way, as will be described in the following verses. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, such speculators are themselves bewildered, and thus they cannot know that the ultimate cause of all causes is the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Okay. Or I will leave it here. I won't go into the explanation into this. I think it's understood. I can just quickly say though, all karma has a cause. So all reactions have a cause. The karma that's coming to us due to some seeds of sin, which is now fructifying into karmic reaction. By the power of devotional service, our seeds of sin get fried, and our seeds of material desires also get fried. So power of devotional service. So we'll leave it here because time is passing, and just hear from yourselves. Hare Krishna. Okay. So we got Pundikaksh Prabhu. Prabhu, you want to make a start? Then we go to Hina Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I mean, if Hina Mataji wants to start, it's okay, Prabhu.
That's fine, Prabhu. If Mata wants to go, that's fine. Mata, you
Hare
want to start?
Krishna.
Hare
Yep,
Krishna.
no problem. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, not too much to say, but I'll share what I noted down. I think the first few verses very much show how different the age that Parikshit Maharaj was in compared to where we are now. Everybody very pious, very compassionate to each other, to animals, and also how any immoral acts were justly punished by the rulers at that time as well. So almost like a very idyllic, almost like how it should be, in terms of how society and how rulers should be. And then noted down also how one of the verses, how Krishna demonstrates in the Battle of Kurukshetra, how he took on the role of a charity for the Pandavas, for Arjun, and he wanted to serve him, and he was physically with him throughout the battle, which shows how Krishna intervenes and he provides personal protection to his devotees, and in a very similar way, the Paramatma also accompanies the living entities in all their wanderings and all their different bodies. It's there, it's traveling through until that soul until that jiv turns to the Lord. So I guess there's a message in there as well for us to remember that equally we're not alone. And also lastly, just around the last verse was around how everything good or bad that we receive is sanctioned by the Lord. So we should gracefully accept whatever comes our way, which I know, as you pointed out, can be very challenging and very difficult at times. But yeah, I think sometimes you've got to just look at it, almost put yourself in the role of an observer, and don't take the situation too personally, even if it's good, even if it's bad, and remember that we're only in these bodies for a very short, and these roles that we're playing, we're only in them in this stage of life for a few days, really. When you look at it in the course of history, the human life form is very short. So and trying to kind of fixate on what's really important. So that sometimes usually I try to help sometimes helps me as well. So thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You're right. Human life is not really that long as we think. Our ego is a lot bigger and the lifespan is very small. But we think, what we try to achieve with our ego, and we have differences with people. We're looking for extra respect from people. It's we're here for a short period of time. Just live your life happily. We just comparing things all the time, and we have so much expectations. There is no need. Just be happy and make others happy. And we have to be, have to have a big heart to do that. But we tend to think about ourselves more than we think about other people's happiness. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yes, Purnikash Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanat Pranam. Yeah, few points. Parishit Maharaj is worrying about is thinking about his ancestors as well. And Lord Ram is also mentioned. And we know like Bhagirath coming from the same lineage. He did effort to bring down Mother Ganga to deliver all his ancestors. So normally I remember only my father and my grandfather, but before that I don't remember anyone. I know you think, but generally once you become a devotee, you are able to liberate the family of like seven families back as well. So become a devotee, and I mean Jnana Yoga will help us to address any sinful activities which are going to do in future. But what about the sins which are already performed? Their reactions will come definitely. So, but Bhakti Yoga is the one which will address even the sinful activities which are done in the past and which are yet to be fructified. That's why Krishna says, Sarvadharmam Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. I am going to free you. By your nature, you may still continue doing Abhiches Sudurachara. By your nature, you should be continuing. But if once you are in path of Bhakti, I am going to protect you. So Krishna always protect his devotees, but many people think about protection rather than worshipping first. And when they don't get any protection, that's where they lose the faith. But they lose the point, they miss the point that first you become devotee and then look for the protection. It's not that once you get the protection, then you will become a devotee. Um, and Dukkalayam Asasvitam, that is true, but again, it's our responsibility to keep it peaceful as well. So if you are in devotion, you help other people also to come into the path of bhakti. And especially Srila Prabhupada has given so much of literature and in a very clear way to help everybody understand the scriptures so we can distribute them, keep the world peaceful, and Lord will be very happy. Like if the world is peaceful, if yesterday we were reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, in that is mentioned that in millions of universe, one universe fall down also, Lord doesn't feel anything. So it's okay. Like if you make it peaceful, one universe can be cleared at least. And apad dharma point, I like it. Apad dharma means the situation where you have nothing, no option left. In that time, you are allowed to eat that meat. That's what is mentioned by Prabhupada in the purport. But I had one instance from one of the devotee that once a devotee was sent to South Africa, very remote place, for preaching, and he came back and he said, Prabhupada, I cannot do preaching there. And then he said, why you can't do? He said, I don't find vegetarian. I don't find even leafy vegetables also there. So I cannot even live on the salads also. That's why I can't do preaching there. But Prabhupada said, what else is available? Then he said, fish is available there. So Prabhupada said, for apad dharma, for the living sake, because body is to be there, you go there, eat as an apad dharma only, not for your sense gratification, but continue preaching there. And he sent him back. That's what Prabhupada said. That's Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he didn't want to. Prabhupada, didn't want to follow the instruction of Prabhupada. He wanted him to go there and preach. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, so much. Kiran Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. The instructions of the Guru are sacred. And the example Pundakash Prabhu said that he didn't want to preach this person in a remote place in the jungle because there weren't any vegetarian items. And he raised this matter with his Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and some concessions were made. And these concessions are exceptional to the rule. At times of difficulties, famine, or war, some exceptional circumstances can be made. And we have to remember it's all about time, place, and circumstances. And that is why certain situations arise in a certain way. And you know that when Arjuna brought Draupadi home, he said, Mom, look at what I've got. And and Mom, Kunti said, yeah, you have to share it with everybody, with all your brothers. You know that's not right. But the words of your guru, your first guru, is sacrosanct. And so it was that he had to follow it. But Bali Maharaj also didn't obey the words of his guru because he realized that his guru was only in it for his motives. He knew that it was God would come to ask for the 3 steps of land. And so these are the dilemmas that are presented to us from time to time. This is the nature of the material world. Nothing here is permanent. The only permanent thing is in the spiritual world. And so, even Krishna said Ashwatthama should be killed. Draupadi said, no, he's the son of a Kshatriya. He's the son of a Brahmin. His mother will also feel his bereavement, his death. And so these are very complex matters sometimes, but we have to follow dharma and our swadharma, such as we know that what society is doing in terms of harming animals and cows particularly is absolutely disgraceful. But we don't have those control over the multinationals. But you do your own dharma, your own swadharma. And it's your own individual journey, which you follow according to Shastric injunctions, values, and laws, and the regulations, which will take you in the right direction. We're devotees. Devotees are powerful people. Hanuman was a devotee. He could make the stones float. Ram's stones sank in the thing. Krishna responds to his devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to experience the life of a devotee. Our association is very powerful and significant. And so dealing with hostility and dealing with insults, they can come through a hose pipe. But we have to be equipoised and be able to deal with them with humility and with absolute centeredness so that we don't disharmonize our own integrity. We've been given so many values through the Shastras. We must uphold them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, so many points you made. Wonderful. Yeah, just about the orders of the Guru. I mean, even Lord Krishna, he demonstrated that it's important to have a Guru and to keeps to instructions. And Lord Chaitanya, he followed Ishwapuri's instructions fully. When Ishwapuri, he sent Govinda to serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though Govinda actually was his god brother because he was also a disciple of Ishwapuri, but because he was sent by Ishwapuri, because Ishwapuri thought Lord Chaitanya is like younger than him, thought he's like a son, he treated like he would behave like a father with him, so he wanted to send Govinda especially to serve him, and Lord Mahaprabhu he just accepted him straight away, although it was not easy at that time because Mahaprabhu was so popular and he has so many servants and people who want to be close to him, but he did not question anything. If Ishwapuri has sent someone to serve him as his personal servant, so that's fine, and he just took him on as servant because his guru has is the order of his guru. So this when even God comes, he sets good examples for us to follow. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Pranam.
And Shrimati.
Thank you. These verses again, we see the importance of good leaders, righteous leaders, and we can see what's happening in society now with few leaders who, because of their ego and their greed, what is happening in society. Innocent people are losing lives. And in these verses, it clearly says, the leader should be as strong as Parikshit Maharaj to give protection to the innocent and also to give punishment, to the offenders, even if they are citizens of the heavenly kingdoms, so they should be as strong as Parikshit Maharaj, but the leaders are just there for themselves now, for their sense gratification and for their parties. And we can clearly see, the previous kings, they had moral values, moral responsibilities, and now all that is lost, and then also picked up on obeying gurus. And like we can remember how we never questioned our parents. Whatever our parents told us to do, we'll just do it. And I can remember when my children, not that my children, we are very fortunate, all of us, our children are very well behaved, they listen to us, but they still question, if you tell them don't do this, and they'll say why. As I never asked my mother why, we just did what we were told. So that was like respect, and you just follow whatever your parents told, they told us. And then in the last verse, the most important question came, why suffering happens. So there are so many different reasons, but when you're a devotee, we always feel like whatever comes our way, it's mercy of the Lord. And that way, we just come across that problem, and before you know, it's all gone, and you think, then was that a dream? What happened? Because Lord is there always to protect us. So we just have to worry about our karma. Like some people say, oh, I'm God-fearing. And I always correct them, say, no, don't be God-fearing, be God-loving. Or you should only fear your karmas, what we do. So karmas are what, we have to pay back. Not God doesn't punish us. It's our own doings that punishes us. And then, again, the point was picked up, how we have to be humble and just get on with our life. And I think when you're engaged in devotional service, you start realizing that these things don't really matter. When somebody's offending you, insulting you, you just walk away with humility. And at the same time, have compassion for that person. What is the state of their mind, why they are behaving like this. And just have compassion and just have a prayer for them. Krishna give them peace as well. So, and like whatever on this WhatsApp, we're learning now acceptance and no expectations. So just to keep us going and just keep engaged in the devotional service. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
A very nice point, Smati. Thank you so much. Ajay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes, very nice points with devotees. It's you see the confidence in Maharaj Parikshit's words. He has, like you say, he has the moral authority, he has the authority as king, as our emperor of the world. There is that confidence there that he can enforce the rules, he can enforce dharma. We should say, make sure Swadharma is followed by everyone as well. There's that confidence there these days. That's kind of, you do see older generations complain about younger generations, why they don't listen. Well, that's because you don't have that confidence to enforce the rules. Because you don't know what's actually Swadharma to begin with, or if you are not following it properly yourself, you can't expect people to follow if you don't practice what we preach. That is the problem. We see that with those in charge that's been there for centuries, millennia. Once there's hypocrisy there, then the cracks start to begin to open up. That's problem. That's why Prabhupada did so much for us, in terms of trying to reestablish what is correct. But unfortunately, even then, he didn't have enough time to get everything done. There's so much that needs to be done. Now you can see that the mercy that he's given the chance for his disciples, grand disciples, so on and so forth, to actually, to make their mark, to actually help the world in that sense. Yet it is that is the problem. We tend to see things as degrading constantly, but there is improvement as well. You see, the younger generations. I'm talking like teens, 20s. They are interested in learning about God as such. It's just that they need to be introduced to what is actually devotional service. It's not just going to the mandir and taking selfies with the deities. That's not devotional service. You actually understand what pleases Krishna, what pleases devotees, actually understanding relationship, understanding your own relationship, developing that relationship. There's so much there to learn. It's not just following a set of rules and then hope for the best. It's love of Godhead. It's love of Krishna. There's love there. It's so powerful. So you tap into it. And that's the thing, especially for those that come to the movement early, they feel it. They get, they're very blissed out. They're powerful. But then, because they don't understand that you need to be tested if you're going to rise, the higher you go up, the harder the test gets. It's natural. If they get bewildered by it, then they turn away. And that's the thing. If you want to get the ultimate gift, then you need to prove that you're worthy of it. You need to be willing to be tested. You can't, examples been given, devotees that are more advanced, they don't fear being tested, fear having to suffer a bit, because they understand that is part of the process. And that's the thing, we shouldn't fear having to suffer a bit. I mean, it can be overwhelming at times, because we are only minute part and parcels of Krishna. We have our limitations. Yet that is the thing, we tap into the limited, we take mercy of Krishna, then Krishna will look after us. We, whatever suffering we do have to suffer, it's limited as such. It's like the example of when Guru takes, gives diksha to the disciple. He doesn't, he has to suffer a bit. I mean, but he doesn't suffer, so he doesn't take on the whole karma, because Guru protects him. But yet, even then, the pure devotee still has to suffer a bit. So that's the thing. We just have to understand this is the blessing of Krishna. We might have to. This suffering is actually His mercy. It is us understanding that we are completely in His shelter. It's like the gopis. They don't care. They'll do whatever Krishna wants. We have to try and get to that level. We have to be worthy of serving the gopis. That's what I rather. I think people try and jump ahead. We're not trying to be. We're not the eternal associates. We're trying to serve the eternal associates. And then I think that's why it's important we take association of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We can get there. It is possible to do it in this lifetime. We just have to. We have to keep building that faith. We build that faith, then it seems amazing work that Prabhupada's disciples and those that follow have done. We can do that. We just take shelter of Krishna, and you'll get there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes, all right. I mean, for suffering, and this is to Kyalam Shashvatam anyway. This is a world of suffering. So suffering is there, but how immune are we to the suffering? That's the thing. But that doesn't mean you need to keep letting people mess you about. Like Matu is saying, you pray for them, that you understand that this person has a problem, and you want to pray for them and help them. And if it becomes intolerable, then we have to report it as well. We cannot take exactly as the Shastras, because we're not at that level. So anyway, we have to use our intelligence. Does anyone quickly say something?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, everyone. Very nice realizations from all of you. I think your realizations are getting better and better. So congratulations to all of you. And because I speak in the end, so sometimes I say there's nothing left. They've all covered everything nicely. What do I say? But definitely the point in all these verses which stood out for me was when Dharma was replying to his cause of suffering, the bull personified, he said that it is difficult to say that who is the miscreant. So that shows the humility. So how beautiful it is that Dharma is saying it's difficult to point that who is the miscreant, who is the cause of my suffering. So that sums it up all. That yes, at our level, we are not pure devotees, we are not doing pure devotional service, we are practitioners, we are sadhakas, we are just practicing. So at our level, we understand how much we can, and if we are in doubt, we clear it from the three sources always: Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. And of course, Srila Prabhupada always said, don't follow anything blindly, question it, clear your doubts, because you don't want to be known that you're following a society, you're following an organization where people are just blindly following the things. There's a protocol to it, and Prabhupada has shown us, in his translations, what these Shastras are telling us, what Srila Vyasadeva wrote down, because he was not satisfied. How in the beginning he said he was told by Narad Muni that yes, write Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. You haven't written what is going to help the people of this Kali Yuga, what is going to help the mankind at the grassroots levels, and that is the devotion service. So yes, the power of devotion service has been mentioned clearly, as all the verses tell us again and again. So my prayers that we all get more and more mercy and more faith and more compassion to give to others, and pray for the world peace at the moment, that everything pans out exactly how God is going to sanction, and let what is going to happen, if it's going to happen, if God has sanctioned it, it's going to happen. But we do our duty, we do follow the right dharma, and we do our swadhyay, our self-study, be it for 5 minutes or 15 minutes a day, and make Srila Prabhupada proud, and like he promises that he's going to take us through the back door.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining, and we'll catch up again on when will we catch up? On Friday.
Srila Prabhupada
Ki
ki
jai.
jai. Bhagavatam ki jai.
Lord
Gaura
Prem-
Premnande
Hari
Hari
Hari.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.